Well, Minister for DEFRA, Geoffrey Boot, is with us, and today, of course, is the announcement about milk going up. It's quite a big rise, but it hasn't been one for some time. What's going on?
This is the first rise for 12 years. There was a revision a while ago when the new cartons, half-litre cartons were bought in. It comes about as a request from the creamery. It's nothing to do with DEFRA. I chair the marketing committee, which comprises members of the OFT industry and obviously the creamery, and the creamery requested that the committee reviewed the situation, bearing in mind there hadn't been a rise for some time, and they made proposals. The committee passed that. It was originally intended that it would rise during the COVID period, but it was...
I hear it was right to the wire, then it got pulled.
It was suggested that they waited until things had got a bit better. So they've done that. The reality is it is a rise, but it's a fair rise.
Do the farmers get part of this, though?
They do and they don't. It's part of a cooperative. Obviously, the creamery determines the price they pay per litre to the farmers, and to maintain the present price with the ongoing increased costs, then they will be maintaining the price they're paying at the moment. Whereas if you look at what's happening in the UK, some dairies have basically been pouring their milk away because there's just so little demand, and the price has gone down well below the price of production. So it is a rise, but let's look at it in the broader sense. It's a Manx product. It's a great Manx product. It's grass-fed. It's probably some of the best milk in the world. But people can still buy imported milk if they so wish.
It's been quite a move to the cartons, I understand. Again, I just happened by chance to be talking in a big store this morning about the swing from the plastic containers. You must be pleased with that. That's
well, there were issues with the recyclability, but I think they're being solved now.
Oh, okay. Even on the cartons?
Yes, the creamery are addressing that. I think there will be receptacles or containers to collect these around the island.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, at the Food and
Drink Festival,
plastic,
hasn't it?
It's far better than plastic. It's just a different problem. Right. But in terms of the longevity of the milk as well, I don't know whether you take creamy milk, but I found that the litre containers they'll keep for 5, 6, 7 days, whereas the plastic bottles, the milk seems to go off more quickly, and I'm not quite sure why. But that's
okay. And back to this, how does it work out for the pay rises? Who decides that it's going up? I mean, is it just something that you dictate to the creamery, or the creamery tell you?
No, they come to us with a request. From a DEFRA perspective or a minister's perspective, I have no control or command.
So they
come to us.
Creameries is yours, isn't it? I mean,
no,
is it
creamery's not.
Exactly.
It's a farmers' cooperative.
Fine, but how close a connection is that?
No, they are distinct from government.
Right, okay.
So they're not part of the government process. The meat plant is an arm's length government-owned entity, but the creamery is in a different situation. Fine. It's a farmers' cooperative, and one that works quite well for the farmers on the Isle of Man in a dairy sense.
So they just put the price up without asking you then, Carl?
No.
So there is a tie-up.
No, the legislation is such that they have to go to the Agricultural Marketing Committee and make that request. It just happens that I chair that committee. I don't necessarily vote on that committee. It is down to the OFT members.
Did you agree for this price rise, though?
I didn't agree to it at all.
No,
the committee agreed to it.
Fine.
Yeah, let's put the responsibility for the price rise where it is.
Absolutely. So anyway, do you think it's a fair one?
I can't argue with no price rise effectively for 12 years. It's indefensible. I think it needed to go up at some stage. I mean, there's different percentages on the different kinds of packaging or carton size, but it did need to go up. And to be fair to the creamery, they do a really good job. They've had problems with their market share in terms of exports because of COVID. They put on a lot more customers through round deliveries during COVID and helped out, which has increased their expense. And they want to maintain the payments to the farmers. So at the end of the day, I hope that consumers will support the creamery and continue to buy fine Manx milk.
And that's the issue, because presumably some places bring in milk that does undercut it, or not? I mean,
there is cheaper milk available. Yeah. There is no reason.
So this is a tricky one, isn't it?
To buy. Well, I think there's a brand loyalty there, and I think if you look at the milk, we buy Manx milk because it's home produced. It's definitely grass-fed for the majority of the year. It's not mass processed, and it's a great product. So why wouldn't you buy it? And even those few extra pence going to our Manx farmers, multiplier effect, circular economy and all the rest of it, that's what we need, built-in resilience. And if there's one thing that COVID has taught us, is that we shouldn't take logistic lines for granted. So having our own creamery and milk production is a great thing and a great asset for the island.